Hello, class. We're about to start lesson 2 in chapter 3, and it's on percents. It says here percent means per hundred or out of 100. For example, if you have $100 and you spend $25, you spent 25 out of $100, or 25% of your money. Since percent is a way of showing part of a whole, it has much in common with fractions and decimals. To convert a percent to a fraction, write the percent over 100 and reduce. To convert percents to decimals, drop the percent symbol and move the decimal point 2 places to the left, which is shown here. Now, in any percent problem, there are 3 elements: the base, the part, and the rate. The base is the whole quantity or amount that the problem is about. The part, also called a percentage, is a portion of the base. The rate is a number followed by the percent symbol. At a restaurant, Janice's bill is $20. She gives the waiter a tip of $3, which is 15% of her bill. Identify the base, part, and rate in this situation. Okay, now let's start off first. We've dealt with this before with the basic fraction. Or better yet, let's go back to what we did before with fractions. Remember the section that we covered where we had a figure and part of the figure was shaded, and then you were asked to write this as a fraction. Now remember I told you that you count the whole, which was here, it'll be 4, and then the shaded portion would be your part. We're using this same knowledge that you had before. Instead of saying the whole, you would say the base. The whole and base are the same. And then instead of saying what's shaded, you would just say the part. So you actually have done this before, it just was worded differently. So again, part is the shaded portion or the portion you're looking for, and the base is everything, the whole problem. So now, if we look back at example 1, it says Janice's bill is $20. She gives the waiter a tip of $3, which is 15% of her bill. Identify the base and the part. So if you look here, if we do part and base, we know the part is the $3 she gave as the tip. And then the base would be the $20 that her bill was. So it's $3 out of $20. Okay, now we want to identify the rate. The rate is typically written as a percentage. So your rate in this case would be your 15. So your rate in this problem would be the percentage that you have. Now with your rate, you must also write the percent symbol. So your rate would be 15%. So basically, your part is 3, your base is 20, and your rate is 15%. Okay, now we scroll down here. They want us to basically write this problem out, but we will get to that a little later. I want to concentrate now on the problems at hand. All right, so now we look at number 1. It says for each situation, identify and label the base, the part, and the rate. All right, so I'm not going to go through every problem. I think what I want to do is just go through the even ones from 2 to 10. So we'll start off with problem number 2. It says on a test with 80 problems, Sophie got 72 problems right. In other words, she answered 90% of the problems correctly. So what we would do is we'll write our base, they say part, and then the rate. Now our base here is the total amount of problems that we have, which would be 80. The part is the part she got correct, which was 72. And then finally, the rate is the percent, which is 90%. Now, number 4, it says Zoe's take-home pay each month is $2,000. She spends $500 on rent each month, which is 25% of her take-home pay. So again, we add a base, the part, the rate. The base is how much she takes home a month, which in this case is $2,000. The part is how much she spends on rent, which is $500. And finally, the rate is the percent, which is 25%. Now, number 6, because I said I was just going to do all the even problems. So number 6, Kayla bought a dress for $38. She paid $3.23 in sales tax. The sales tax rate in her state is 8.5%. So the base is what she paid for the dress, which is $38. The part is what she paid in sales tax, which is $3.23. And then the rate is the percent of the sales tax, which is 8.5%. Now we go on to problem number 8. Harrison got a 10% raise. Before the raise, his hourly wage was $10.70. Now he earns an additional $1.07 per hour. So what we would do with number 8, we will write the base. And that was the base salary, which was $10.70. The part is the amount of additional money that Harrison received per hour, which is $1.07. And then the rate is the percent of the raise, which is 10%. Okay, now we move on to problem number 10. Problem number 10, in an election, 5,000 of the 12,500 registered voters actually voted. Only 40% of the registered voters actually voted. So what we would do, our base would be 12,500. Our part would be 5,000. And then finally our rate, which is 40%. Okay, now that took care of listing the part, the base, and the rate. Now we come here where it says B, choose the one best answer to each question. Use the proportion part over base equals rate over 100 to solve each problem. Now, I will tell you this, there is one little issue. When you write the rate, when you're doing the proportion, you will not add the percent sign. You would just write the number as is. So we will get into that. So we will start with problem number 11. It says questions 11 and 12 refer to the following information. A local newspaper printed the following high school basketball standings. Now we see the wins and the losses. It says which of the following expressions could be used to find what percent of its total games Fairfax has won. So what we would do with problem 11, we would take the part over the base is equal to the rate over 100. Now, so the part here, if we look at, it says total games they have won. So if we look at Fairfax, they won 9 games. So their part would be 9. So we'll replace part with 9. Now we come here. We have to do the base. The base is the total amount of games played. So that's when you add wins and losses, and it's assumed it's no draws here. That is the total amount of games that was played. So 9 plus 3 is 12. So that is your base. Now your rate, we do not know what the rate is yet. So it'll just be rate over 100. So that means that rate, remember when we were doing the problems in the first part of this chapter, we will usually use x. So rate is really your x. So we're solving for the rate. Now, what they want you to do is to get rate by itself. To get rate by itself, rate is divided by 100. So we take the opposite operation that's connecting this 100 to rate. The opposite operation of division is multiplication. So we will multiply each side by 100. And we can put this 100 over 1. So these here, these 100s will simplify out and leave you rate. Now, if you notice in your answers, the numbers are not combined. They are written in multiplication with the smaller number first. So it'll be 9 times 100, and 1 times 12 is 12. So we look here for the one that closely matches this, and that is A. So A is our final answer. Okay, now we're going to try problem number 12. Problem number 12 says, what percent of its games did Bravo win? So now, for number 12, we will have our part over our base is equal to our rate over 100. So it says, what percentage of its games did Bravo win? So we look at Bravo. Bravo won 6. So that's the part. And then the base, we notice here we have 6 wins, 6 losses. We add them together. That gives us 12. Is equal to, we will have rate over 100. So now we're solving for the rate. So we need to get rid of this 100, and we get rid of it by multiplying by the opposite operation of what's connecting this 100 to the rate. So division becomes multiplication. So we'll multiply each side by 100, and we can make that 100 over 1. So these 100s will simplify out, and you will have rate equals 100 times 6 is 600. 600, 1 times 12 is 12. So you have 600 over 12. Now, what happens here is 600 divided by 12 is actually, and I'm going to write it over here because I ran out of space. 600 over 12 is 50. So 50 is equal to the rate. Now, I do have to warn you about this. When you write rate, remember in our previous problem, rate was always a percent. So we would have to make this 50%, which would be your rate. Okay, now we move on to problem 13, which will be the last problem of this page. So we have 13. It says a jacket with the price tag of $128 is on a rack with the following sign. All items 25% off mark price. Discount taken at register. By how much will the price be reduced when the jacket is taken to the register? So this is what we would do. Okay, the price tag is $128. So we know $128 is our base. Now, we don't know what the part is, because that's what we're trying to find. And then we have our rate, which is 25%. Okay, now we just need to solve for the part. So we would do that formula. We have part over the base is equal to rate over 100. Okay, part over the base. The part we don't know, so we'll make the part x. The base is 128. The rate is 25%, but we'll just write it as 25, and that'll be over 100. Because 25, because remember, percent means over 100, so 25 over 100 is the same thing as saying 25%. Now we have to solve this. So what we would do, we would do our cross multiplication. We have a fraction is equal to a fraction. So we'll do x times 100 is equal to 128 times 25. So x times 100 is 100x. 128 times 25, we can actually multiply that out. So 128 times 25 will give us 3,200. Okay, now you divide each side by 100 because remember we're trying to get x by itself, which in this case x is our part. We divide each side by 100. 100 divided by 100 would simplify out, and we will have x. X is equal to 3,200 divided by 100 would be $32. So our answer here would be C. And that is how much the price will be reduced. So that is the part that's being reduced. Now, this is it for this lesson, and I will upload this to YouTube, and I will see